Good afternoon, YouTube. AJ here, coming at you with an interesting way to store feed, to store mortar, concrete, tools, things of them sorts. I mean, you literally, once you hear what I'm talking about, you can literally store anything you want to in them. They're kind of oddball. It makes, a very interesting way to start storing things. People will look at you probably like you're crazy when you first start doing it. But with that being said, it's a reusable, and repurposing of stuff. And so that's in itself is just good. And then on top of it, you can get it usually dirt cheap. Around here anyways, it's extremely cheap to be able to get this type of stuff, because most people are they're going to be throwing it away or hauling it off to, like, say, a scrapyard or something. And right now, even back in the day, scrap prices ain't that much. They might get $10 out of it and stuff like that, or things like that. Sorry, my bad. So you're really not going to be paying too awful much for this. And what it is very simple. You're going and getting used appliances. Basically, you can put up a little ad or whatever on Craigslist, many places. Just use your imagination, where you can put up ads to let people know that you're looking for some used appliances. And by that I mean you're looking for refrigerators, freezers, stand-up or lay-down freezers, and depending on your application, you may even be looking at using some old dishwashers and stuff. So, like, I like using freezers for, especially stand-up ones, for feed, but I also use them for, and I don't mean feed for us, I mean feed for, like, rabbits, chickens, whatever, your dog food, stuff like that, because it's all mouse-proof. Mice ain't gonna get into there. You're not gonna put a couple $100 worth of feed in this storage container and then have it torn up by mice. You put it in there, it stays dry, it stays mouse free. You can write on the outside of it what's in there, keep an inventory, just use some of that spray blackboard paint, and then you can keep track of everything that's in there. And it's super easy. It makes everything super easy. And depending on how you put them in, wherever you have, if you have the room for it, put them side by side, but leave a little bit of a gap in there and put a shelf across the top, things like that. You can make you a really good storage area that also has, above it storage areas. Up above it, you'd have good storage area as well. Of course, that stuff wouldn't be mouse proof, and it would be different stuff like that. And I keep saying mouse proof because a lot of the stuff that I use them for is out in the garage, out in the shed, and everything like that. I keep my air tools in there, my electric tools, all kinds of random things in there. I mean, basically, like I just said, was you could keep everything you could think of in there. Just start making you a cabinet, which is basically what it is a cabinet that you're going to use to store all your stuff in, but you'll keep the dust out of there, you keep the rodents out of there, and you can literally list on there what you have within this cabinet. And it gives you a good way to track inventory, it gives you a good way to keep track of some of your tools and things like that. And I even use dishwashers. And I say that with a scowl and kind of thinking about it, because people are going to go, what in the world, a dishwasher? So I built a workspace table, and I made it the right height to fit a dishwasher under it. And then, of course, it opens just like a dishwasher would, but I took all the guts out of it and made it to where I can place tools in there and stuff like that. And I just opened the door, and it's right handy there, things I typically use on my workbench. And it's really handy, keeps everything nice and clean, keeps the dust off of it, even if you're going to that extent. So even an old dishwasher, it can be extremely handy for doing things like this, and trying to just keep your tools and items like that put up, or just miscellaneous things like that. And going back to the freezers and refrigerators, one thing I forgot to mention that I learned from experience Get the ones that have the plastic inside. Do not get the ones that have the aluminum inside. The aluminum inside creates condensation, which will of course ruin everything you have in there. And it doesn't matter how, it does not take much of a weather swing to make the condensation start appearing in there. You can have a pretty decent morning, pretty decent afternoon, and the weather's pretty well staying normal, or not having no up and downs throughout it, and you still open the door and there's moisture in there. Now with the ones with the plastic, you don't have that issue. Then on the flip side of that, if you use the ones with aluminum, there's one good purpose for them. Not one. There's a few good purposes for them. One, however, is building a smoker out of it, because you already got the metal in there, so you're not going to melt no plastic, depending on how hot you're trying to smoke in and things like that. But you can build a smoker a lot easier out of the ones that already have the aluminum in there. It just makes it a hell of a lot easier to build that smoker, because most people you see building a smoker out of an old fridge or freezer, they cut everything out, then they put metal in and all that. Well, the aluminum ones already have that, so you ain't got to worry about it. Now the plastic ones, for me, now this is just my personal experience, I have not had any condensate or ruin anything. You get a good, whatever you put in there comes out good and dry, dust free, rodent free, and you're happy because your storage is working good. And I'll use stand-up ones, lay-down ones. Just depends on how you want to do it. If you have the room and the ability to do it, because the lay-down ones, of course, you got to dig down inside of them and things like that. But it's really not difficult. It's not no more difficult than picking the bag up out of the bed of your truck or whatever. And it just makes extremely handy ways to store things, and you can paint them to match your shop or what have you, or you can just leave them whatever color, or like what I like doing or will be doing a lot more of is painting them with that blackboard paint, so that we can write on them with chalk and keep an inventory of what's in there, whether it be feed for the animals or it's tools to try to keep dust and stuff like that off of. Everything in my shop's going to end up being painted with the chalkboard paint, and I think that'll help out a lot with keeping track of a lot of things. So there's just a couple ideas. I mean, you can even use ovens if you really wanted to. It just depends on what you truly want for storage, what you have room for, and you can come up with some really, really cheap ideas that they're rodent proof and dust proof. With the refrigerators, freezers, and dishwashers, even the ovens, you got them nice sills on there. Not only is it metal pretty much all the way around, but you have the nice sills in there, so it really keeps everything good and dry. And I'm sure there's a lot of other things you could use to store things in. So if you guys have any other comments or ideas, on that, let me know in the comments, and let me know if this actually sounds like a decent idea to any of you guys. I really haven't seen anything around on this. And moving on to another little thing that I literally just thought of right now was old toolboxes in trucks. I've bought 3 or 4 of those now that had little pinholes, or somebody drilled a hole they didn't really plan out too well or what have you, or they just get a couple holes in them. Well, they're just the size of a decent sized drill blade, like an 1/8 inch hole or whatever. Well, I'm not trying to keep it waterproof for the most part, because it's inside my garage. I just want to keep rodents out of it and dust. So you can squirt a little silicone or whatever in there, and use L brackets to push them up off the wall a little bit, and of course attach it to the wall. And those make great storage. If you don't have a lot of room to store like toilet paper, hand soaps, dish soaps, things like that, they're pretty handy for that. And then of course, the same as what I was saying before, anything you can think of to stack in there that's a non-perishable item, or something you're just needing to kind of keep a little bit better contained or whatnot. that's pretty much it for today, folks. Just kind of throwing out some oddball storage area ideas and seeing what people think about it. So let me know in the comments below, please. And by all means, please like, share, subscribe. And y'all be safe. Have a good night. Thanks. Bye.